What if the most profound transformation in your life begins not in a moment of triumph, but in the unbearable silence after someone walks away? Stay with me, because what Carl Jung discovered about abandonment will completely reframe everything you thought you knew about healing. Most people believe abandonment is about the person who left. They spend months, sometimes years, trying to understand why, replaying conversations, searching for the moment things changed. But Jung saw something most people miss entirely. Abandonment isn't the wound, it's the doorway. Here's what nobody tells you about the feeling of being completely abandoned. That hollow, breathless sensation, the one that wakes you at 3 a.m. Jung called it the activation of the primal wound. It reaches back further than this relationship, further than this betrayal. It touches something ancient inside you, a part of the psyche that learned very early that love was conditional. And here's where it gets profound. Jung discovered that the psyche never reacts to the present moment alone. When abandonment strikes, it tears open every previous abandonment stored silently in your unconscious. That's why losing one person can feel like losing everyone. That's why the grief feels disproportionate. It isn't. You're not overreacting. You're finally feeling something you were never allowed to feel before. According to Carl Jung's theory of the unconscious, the human psyche stores unprocessed pain in what he called the shadow, not to punish us, but to protect us, until we're ready. When you feel abandoned, your shadow activates. And for most people, the instinct is to silence it immediately, to stay busy, to find someone new, to perform being okay. But Jung discovered something remarkable about the people who refused to look away from that pain. They became unbreakable, not because they stopped feeling, but because they let themselves feel all of it. Here's what most people don't understand about healing. It is not a linear process. Jung observed that the psyche heals the way nature heals, in spirals. You will revisit the same pain at different depths. You will think you've moved on, and then a song, a smell, a familiar silence will bring it back. This isn't regression. Jung called it the circumambulation of the wound, circling the pain until you understand every dimension of it. The moment you stop judging your own healing process is the moment true healing begins. But here's where it gets fascinating. And this is the part that will completely change how you see yourself. Carl Jung said that what we cannot face consciously will drive us unconsciously. The person who was abandoned and never processed it will unconsciously recreate abandonment in every relationship that follows. Not because they're broken, but because the psyche is desperate to finally resolve what was left unfinished. This is what Jung called the repetition compulsion of the wounded self. You didn't attract unavailable people by accident. You didn't stay too long by accident. Your unconscious was searching with absolute precision for the conditions under which it could finally heal the original wound. The relationship that devastated you wasn't a mistake. It was an invitation. And now comes the part that changes everything. Jung discovered that within every experience of abandonment lies what he called the seed of individuation, the process by which a person stops deriving their sense of self from others and begins to find it within themselves. Think about what abandonment actually forces you to do. It forces you to sit with yourself when every instinct screams to run. It forces you to become your own source of comfort when the external one disappears. It forces you to ask the most dangerous question a human being can ask: who am I when no one is watching? Most people spend an entire lifetime never confronting that question. Abandonment hands it to you whether you're ready or not. Here's what Jung understood that most people miss. The pain of abandonment is not evidence that you loved the wrong person. It's evidence that you are capable of extraordinary depth. People who feel nothing when others leave don't grieve like this. The intensity of your pain is a direct reflection of the intensity of your capacity for connection. That capacity doesn't disappear when someone leaves. It remains waiting to be redirected, not towards someone who needed you to be smaller, not towards someone who needed you to ask for less, but toward relationships and a relationship with yourself built on genuine recognition of who you actually are. According to Jung's concept of the anima and animus, we often project our unlived wholeness onto another person. We fall in love not just with who they are, but with what they represent, the parts of ourselves we haven't yet claimed. When they leave, the projection collapses, and this is devastating. But Jung saw the collapse of projection as one of the most important moments in psychological development, because once the projection falls, you are finally face to face with yourself, with the qualities you admired in them that actually live in you, with the strength you thought only existed because of them. The love you felt was never entirely about them. It was also about the version of yourself you became in their presence. And that version, that expansive, alive, fully feeling version of you, doesn't leave when they do. Here's the final truth that Jung discovered, the one that makes abandonment not just survivable but transformative. The wound of abandonment, when consciously embraced, dismantles the deepest lie the psyche carries, that you need someone else to be whole. Most of us build our lives around this lie without ever knowing it. We shape our personalities to be more lovable. We silence our needs to avoid being left. We make ourselves smaller, easier, more convenient, all to avoid the one thing we fear most. And then it happens anyway. And in that moment, in the rubble of the thing you built your safety around, something extraordinary becomes possible. You discover that the silence isn't empty, it's full of you. Jung called this the return to the self. Not a return to who you were before the relationship, but a return to something older and truer, the self that existed before you learned to shrink, before you learned that love required performance, before you decided that your wholeness was too much for someone to hold. The person who abandoned you did not take anything from you that was truly yours. They took their projection of you, their version of you, the you that was willing to be whatever the relationship required. What remains is something they never had access to. The real you, unedited, unperformed, unapologetic. And Jung's greatest insight, the one his entire life's work pointed toward, was this: that self is not broken by abandonment. It is revealed by it. The healing you're looking for isn't waiting on the other side of forgetting them. It's waiting on the other side of finally, fully meeting yourself. And once you do, you will understand that being left was never the tragedy you thought it was. It was the beginning.